is Priya, founder of IPF. IPF is uh, India's pre-loved baby care products platform, where you can basically buy childcare products like stroller, high chair from other parents at up to 80% discount, zero commission, and sell your own, and hopefully, earn up to like 4K on a daily basis. We have been doing these regular workshops for the IPF community, where we learn about an important parenting concept. And today's concept is around baby milestone and parents' role, uh, which Mital Salia, a renowned game therapist from Elefant, will help us understand. I have Asad with me from Elefant team, and Elefant is one of the biggest toy rental platform in India. And Asad will help me, understand what the agenda is and how can we learn better about this concept in the next 45 minutes. So a little bit about the workshop. Next 45 minutes will be understanding about this concept from Mital, and then we can have the last 15 minutes, which is Q&A for you guys. Please feel free to use the chat box where you can, just ask all your questions. And we will address all of those in the Q&A, right? So yeah, over to you, Asad.
Right. Thanks, Priya, and good morning, all parents of the IPF community. I know it's a Saturday morning. Many of you would have had sleepless nights, but happy to see all of you over here. We are very, very happy to be associated with the IPF and, kind of organize this very exclusive workshop called Understanding Your Baby's Milestones, and how can you fast track these milestones with the help of teaching and learning aids like toys and games, right? I'm Asad Khatao. I'm the Vice President of Business Development and Partnerships at the Elephant. And I work very, very closely with parenting communities, schools, teachers, to further enhance this community and give value add back to the parents like you, right? Uh, on the agenda is this exclusive workshop, which is going to be facilitated by Ms. Mital Salia. Ms. Mital Salia needs no introduction. She's a game therapist, a child psychologist, and a well-renowned author of 3 acclaimed books, one of which has been listed in the 120-year-old public library in New Jersey. She carries more than 2 decades of experience into the education industry, and she has been instrumental in launching various kind of workshops like parenting workshops, teacher training workshops, as well as daycare centers, right? Like Priya mentioned, we'll have a 40-minute session followed by a 10-minute Q&A, and then there is going to be an exclusive reveal in terms of an offer that the Elephant Toy Library would like to make for the members of the IPF. So without much ado, I would like to pass on the mic to Ms. Mital Salia to take over the workshop, please.
Hi, everyone. So, let's make this workshop as interactive as possible, and I would prefer you to be communicating either through reactions or putting in your comments in the chat box. So if I'm audible, I would like a thumbs up with the reaction or into the chat box quickly. Yes, parents, I'm waiting. I just want to see how many of you are active and listening. All right. Okay, I can see a few responses. So yeah, let me just share my screen. Is the screen visible? Just one of you could just give a thumbs up or a at all. All right, perfect. Okay. So yeah, developmental milestones and role of parent. That's our topic today, and these are some very, very important things in the journey of the child's growth, especially in the initial years. It's all about the milestones. Later on, a lot of other learnings start coming in. But in the initial years, it's all about, seeing the child develop, seeing the child's small little things develop. Very quickly, I want to understand the parents who are here. What is the age of your child? If you have 2 kids, you can just put, comma, like one child is 3 and one is 5. You can just write 3, 5. But I want you all to put it in the chat box. What is the age of your child? So the references or the examples I give will make sense to me and you. Okay. A lot of them I'm seeing in months, not even a year old. Few of them are too lovely. All right. So I'll try stick to this first 2 years of life, 3 years of life, with the references and this thing. You can of course keep putting questions, or later we have the Q&A session. That's when you can put any question. All right. Let us begin. So very quick introduction about myself. I'm a counseling psychologist. I'm an author of 3 books. I'm an educationist because I've been into the top educational companies way back, like from 2003 to 2013. I've trained teachers pan India. I've been an unschooler mom. I removed my son out of school when he was in 8th standard. And for last 8 years, he's not been visiting any school, college, or any formal institute. And of course, I'm a traveler. Now, today I'm going to put a lot of stress on how play is a very, very important form of learning, especially in the initial years of life. It is very well said by Diane Ackerman that play is the brain's favorite way of learning. So everything can be learned, while playing, and the brain starts processing a lot of things there. Now, when it comes to the very first year, we talk of I had put in the poll also the physical development, intellectual development, social development, the emotional development. But in the very first year of life, it is the sensory development that begins. So the child starts taking in all the information through the 5 senses or the 6 senses basically. So through their, through things that they are seeing, through the people around them, through their touch, feel, and they might start putting things in their mouth because they are just trying to explore everything. So sensory development is the absolute primary stage of development, and all the information, all the learning happens through these 5 senses. We will cover a few more senses here. So, the sight, sound, taste, smell, and touch, of course, we all know. The tactile. So, in touch, there are 2 things. One is, the temperature, the sensation, and all of that. And one, if I say the tactile, it is the textures or the absorption of, what kind of information I'm getting through, through my touch. As in, there are 2 things. One is I touch my palm and feel something, feel an object and all that. That is tactile. And the other thing is I feel sensations all across my skin. That is, the temperature on my face, the heat, the cold, the outside breeze, everything is felt all across our body. So there are these 2 kind of things. One is your body position and one is the balance. So these are, the sensory inputs that a child goes through. Let us see what kind of stimulation you as parents can give to improve. Because I can see so many parents here whose kids are 1 month to 9 month, 10 month, 11-month old. So this is all the first year of development, and this is not a time where you will actually look at, of course, the physical development does start, that slow progressions happen from the child just sleeping to turning over, then being on the knees, and then crawling, and then sitting and standing with support, and then being able to move around with support and then walk. So this physical development is happening. We will be coming to a lot of other physical development forms also. But besides that, in the first year of life, what are the kind of stimulations that you can give to the kids? So I will talk about how sensory play can help with the development of the child. Now, there have been researches that say that through sensory play, a lot of development happens, like the cognitive development. Um, Anything that's going through the senses, for example, the child is touching something and he realizes कि इसमें गरम लग रहा है, it's heat, it's hot, or it's very cold, or when I touch, it has pokey surface. So 2 to 3 times, if it touches and it realizes that it's hurting the skin, the child will understand that I'm not supposed to touch this. So this cognition is happening. The memory is being developed that something that looks like this or feels like this, I love touching, like the soft toys or the shawl, or whatever the child is liking to hold on to. The rattle gives a grip. And there are things that the child realizes that I'm not supposed to touch this. 2 to 3 times, if something happens, the memory starts developing that this happened last time. So that cognition or that workout for us adults, we understand that, oh, this is fire and we are not supposed to touch. But for a child, that processing is still not happening. Yet that memory starts developing that something that looks like this or feels like this is not supposed to be touched. uh, the problem solving abilities, for example, when I do certain thing and I you know process things in a certain manner, or I'm doing like for example, I shut up something, I shut a box or something, and by shutting the box, um either my finger came in, or by shutting the box I realize, oh, the box closes, and when I pull it in a certain manner, it opens and I get certain thing. So these are the abilities that start developing, that I have to do this action, I have to move like this. Or for example, I shake the rattle and I realize that it's producing some sound. So all of these abilities are developed. Something leads to something, a cause and effect thing, a problem solving ability, that all starts happening through these sensory inputs. Other thing is, it helps in enhancing the physical development, especially the fine motor skills. So, a lot of tactile thing when we do. What we do is we give a lot of objects to the child in hand. Now, something that has a bigger grip, something that has a smaller grip. You might have these play gyms with which the child is, pushing through the legs. Or I mean, in the play gym, what happens, or in the crib toys, we have these hanging toys. And if the child through the leg accidentally happened to push and it started moving, or it started making a sound, it started making some nice movement, or some colors started displaying. So what will happen? The child is learning, and the child will make more of that movements, where the what do you say, the action is happening. If the child is doing something and that response is or that reaction is given back to them, they understand that the more I hit on it, the more I will enjoy that sound, the more I'll enjoy that movement. So the child keeps repeating that actions again and again and again. And Harshita, I'll answer to this question last in the question answer session. So physical development also happens because you enjoy holding something, you enjoy feeling something, you enjoy doing something. And the more, or these push toys, when I hit it, it bounces back. Or when I hold something and these movements are happening in the rattle, I'm shaking it and it's happening, I try to grip on it and I try to make those movements again and again. So the physical development is happening. Secondly, of course, we know that five senses में auditory development होता है. So the child is not speaking in the first year. It may start with the cooing and the babbling, all of that sounds. But we as parents constantly keep talking to the kids. So every time we show something, do you like this rattle? We need to verbalize the things that we are feeding them, the things that we are giving to them, because their language development is happening through their hearing. Although the child is not able to speak, but when the child can speak, the child can recognize, when you'll show them, oh, this is the fan, this is your toy, this is your mom, this is your dad, because you've been constantly talking to them. So the more you communicate, the more their language and their vocabulary will develop. They will learn to communicate in the right manner, and they also learn to connect with people. The sensory play also helps with creativity, development, and self-esteem. Now, how does this happen? A lot of games and toys have some actions to be done. Or, for example, in a rattle, there are these rings which are moving. So, when I know these rings are moving, it gives that innovation sense. It gives that sense that, when I'm doing things like this, something else is happening, a cause and effect is happening, an action is happening, or, it just starts developing imagination in the mind that with this is happening. Or at times, as the children grow a little older, when they are able to sit and, move around 6 months, 8 months, 10 months onwards, they also are playing with a lot of other toys, so they keep exploring. We feel that a toy needs to be played in a certain manner only, but for the child, that that rules are not there. The child will want to explore that toy in every possible way. So in that exploration, a lot of creativity or imagination develops in the mind. And self-esteem, because there is a sense of achievement, there is a sense of feeling good when you're playing with toys. So that is why play, and especially the sensory play in the initial years, is very important. Let's see what kind of games and toys you can bring in for the kids in the early years. Now, when the child is very small, they cannot see the colors. Especially, we love pastel colors. So whenever, a child comes in, we want that pink and sky blue and pastel, like pista green or lemon yellow, all of these colors, but the child cannot understand the difference in these colors. So initially, when we are looking at the high contrast, when we are looking at visual development, it is these high contrast cards. Asad has already shared the links to particular toys, but yes, you will find these flashcards, or you will find these toys which clearly have high contrast images. So something that's absolute black and white and not very small design, larger designs, or something that's dark yellow and black, or something that's red and black. These are the high contrast colors, and this is what needs to be shown to the kids. The primary colors is what the kids start learning and understanding in the first stage of their development. So we cannot expect the kids to see these very cute colors that we love. Oh, this is such a baby color. The child doesn't even understand in the first 3, 4, 5 months, 6 months of their life. It is the high contrast that, whatever you build around the kids, the toys that you buy, the games that you buy, try bringing in dark colors and high contrast colors for them. Then, of course, auditory development. So we have a lot of toys and games. There are these music toys, there are these crib toys which play certain music, and you will find these the lullaby, the crib merry-go-round kind of a thing which plays a music. There are these lighting with music wala toys. So all of this can be exposed, and in addition to that, you talking to the child, sing a poem, sing a song, sing your song. It doesn't matter कि आपको poem ही गाना है, बच्चे का song ही गाना है, whatever song you sing, it's all right. But you can start singing and talking and communicating as much as you can, and bring in pleasant music. Don't have these drums and the initial, even if you look at the kids shakers, rattles and all, they have very mellow and sweet sound. They don't have harsh sound. So don't expose directly to the harsh sounds, but start with these sweet melodies and everything with the kids. So you're allowing the ears to develop and understand and recognize different sounds. Now the tactile development, you get a lot of rattles with textures, with the rings, which with a lot of movement stuff into them, or with a lot of exploration inside. You find these uh, toys which, or the cubes which have different textures on all the 6 sides. You have these rattles which are made of crochet. Of course, it's important to sanitize things like these. So you have multiple such things that can provide texture. These days we get a lot of touch and feel books. And again, as Asad has said, you can just go to your mobile number, get into that, put in your mobile number and PIN code, and you will be able to see a lot of games. Now in the search bar, if you just write on rattles, or if you write touch and feel books, you will find a lot of these books on the Elephant Toy Library as well. But yes, you do find these books outside where every page has certain texture. Something will be fur, something will be like a sandpaper, very rough texture, something will have, like the embossed feeling, and something will have very long fur, short fur, felt material. So all of that the kids are absorbing, and they need to be exposed to as much as textures as possible. um then of course we talk of the uh, smell development. Now, this is, we get these Montessori kits outside which have different perfumes, and usually Montessori kits are very expensive. But if not, you can yourselves also, once you start feeding the child, the taste will also develop. That But that happens, I mean, majority of the parents, I know, they start with any external food after 6 months, but some parents do start at 4. So depending on whenever you are starting. But yes, you can bring in some different flowers, fragrant flowers. You can, don't uh, bring in perfumes and spray perfume on the kid's hand or anything. Don't do things like that. Try and expose them to as much as natural smells and natural flavors. So even, when you're eating something and you're just allowing the child to smell. But again, don't do this in the very first few months of giving the smell of a food and all. But definitely flowers you can expose the kid to. So introduce the kids to different smells and name. And once you start feeding them, you will want to feed in just the lemon drops, and the child see the child's reaction. But at the same time, you have to say this is a sour taste or a sour smell. So the kids start recognizing. And um ideal ways, again, in Montessori kits, you get these droppers. So in the droppers, people, in the bottles, people make this sweet taste and the sour taste and the bitter taste and everything. um Flowers, you can see if the child is not, I mean, don't go very close to the child's nose, because they can start sniffing or sneezing. I mean, with the sniff or getting too close. It doesn't matter if you even start at 1.5, 2 months, but don't bring it too close to the child that the child starts sneezing. So go very slow whenever you start and introducing. Yes, at 3.5, you can definitely start introducing, these mogra or the scented flowers, but don't go too close. You can even put in the smells on the crib, okay? You can put in these gajras and all onto their crib and allow that smell to remain. Now, one trick with the taste and smell is that if you are introducing the child to one taste today, try to stick to that one taste for 7 days. Even when we are introducing new food, let's say I'm giving a munka pani, or I'm giving a soup, or I'm giving a fruit juice. I will keep that one same taste, same fruit juice for the entire week. This allows you to see if the child is having any allergies, if the child is not. Like if you introduce 3 or 4 things together, you will not be able to understand which of this taste the child got allergic to, or which taste he liked or he did not like, she liked or she did not like. So you should always stick to one single item once a week. This week, if I introduce a fruit juice or if I introduce a particular flavor, I will try and stick to that same flavor in the entire week. Of course, flavors may there are no allergies. Food item may there can be allergy. Flavors you can always introduce, like sweetness, sourness, bitterness. Bitterness too starts very early in life, right from birth. A lot of these medicines or different drops that parents give, these have bitter taste. So the bitterness starts very early. But once you start with the sugar, with the sour taste and all of that, um try, I mean, the flavors can be given anytime, but a new food item, stick to one per week. The entire week give that item, see if there is no reaction, then come up with a new food. um Also, the spicy flavor or the chili or the pickles or all of that, it's ideal to start after 1 year or 2 years. I mean, pickles and all after 2 years of life, not in the first 2 years. And the spicy food can start after 10 months, 12 months, but the very light spicy food, not initially, definitely no chili or no spice or anything. And besides these 5 senses, the balance development. So the child's sense of balancing himself, herself, can happen through these walkers, can happen through these pull along toys, where the child is trying to balance self, at the same time pull something along. There are these balancing boards where you want the child to be on the extreme edge of it. It can be little inside also in the initial time, but allow them to explore on these very safe balance boards and all of that. So the coordination, and of course coordination में सब आता है. The very fact that I'm holding something in my hand and I want to put it in my mouth, that coordination, or bringing two things together and putting it, fixing them, like these lock toys or the link toys that come in the first year of life. If I'm able to link it, I'm coordinating my two hands with my visual, so the eye hand coordination is happening. So all of this coordination is also a part of the sensory play. Okay, we will now move on to the three major developmental areas, which are very important in the first 5 years, definitely. After that also, but first five may majority get over. Majority of the developments get over. The cognitive continues till 8. So physical development. Now, physical development refers to the development of the fine motor, the gross motor, and the balance and coordination. So being able to even jump, skip, hop, being able to walk, the larger muscles. We'll come to what is fine motor and what is gross motor. And balance and coordination is all about, you being able to manage, or if I pick up a ball and I want to throw it, I should be able to hold my body still and throw it in a direction. Or if I'm trying to tilt on any sides, I'm able to still hold my body well. So these are the things that come up in the balance and coordination. Standing on one single leg, trying to balance, doing the hopscotch mats, all of this is balance and coordination. So let's see the fine motor skills. The development of small muscles in the hands and the wrist that aid in grasping, reaching out to things, and manipulating objects, that is, moving it, twisting it, pushing it, linking it. All of this manipulation is a part of the uh, fine motor skills. Now, this can happen through various activities, coloring, writing, which comes later in life, clapping, eating, tying shoelaces, buttoning. Now, in the library, you will find a lot of these, lacing toys, and you will find the buttoning toys. You will find these busy boards which allow you to tie shoelaces or do these kind of fine motor tasks. Let us see what you as parents can do and what kind of games help in developing the child's fine motor skills. So one is, of course, you playing games like Patakack or anything. This will, of course, happen after the child is at least 2.5, 3 years and able to process things like this. You can make edible paints, and we get a lot of these in the market, and create trays and let the child dip the entire hand in the tray. So this also after 1.5, 2 years with parent supervision compulsory. You cannot just leave the child on their own still. After 3, you can allow the child to do all the coloring work on their own. But till then, it's always good to be around the kid. But yes, you can create a tray, make the child dip their finger and play with the color, or, create something. You can give a large sheet of paper. It could be newspaper also. You need not have blank sheets, and let the kids just, explore, and you have these sponges and tools also. Then, in our library, again, we have these bath toys. If you put up in the search and write bath toys, you will find these foam stickers, which the child can put, in the bath while playing. They can put it in the bucket, they get wet. And those stickers can be then put up on the wall of the bathroom or the tiles of the bathroom. So they stick, and there are different pictures on it. You get a lot of these bad toys out in the market also, so you can use these things. Then thanks Asad, he's been so sweet searching and sending the exact link. Then of course, yes, the library does have age wise and group wise toys and activities. Then of course, you can have these dough activities, and you can buy these professional and safe play dohs, but at the same time you can also um, uh, you know um, the ghar ka atta that you make, you can give that also. So you're just kneading the dough and you can give it to the child, that okay, the child can just play around. And this allows that pincer grips and the finger grips and the fine motor skills to develop. Stacking and blocking, stacking blocks. So for the very young kids who are just 6 months, 8 months old, we still have blocks. We have these larger blocks for them where they can just hold with both their hands because their grips are not yet developed. So these larger blocks are there, and they will allow, they will, I mean, the child can just stack them and everything. And then we have these noisy toys which the child is pressing and it's making sound. So again, this movement, the squeezing movement is happening. So it's allowing the finger muscles to develop. And these are some of the games we also have in the toy library, or you can have at your home. If you are a part of the library, you can keep subscribing. If not, these are the kind of games you should have at home. One is the peck puzzles and button puzzles. And this will happen after 1.5 year of age, when the child's pincer grip is developed. Pincer grip matlab the forefinger and the thumb. Is say if I'm able to hold, like I'm holding this pencil, what, or a small object that I can hold, an eraser, or I have this coin that I'm holding. So the children can actually eat finger foods. When you give them to eat on their own in the initial stage, they will not be able to drink a fluid with a spoon. That movement is still slow, but a finger food, like objects, like the fruits are cut into pieces, cubes, and given, or any such chota cubes or finger food given to them, the kids can do. We have a lot of pet toys with us and a lot of pet puzzles and trays. Now, if you look at this pet puzzle, the 0, 1, 2, 3, which is there in the picture, this allows even cognitive development to happen, because I'm recognizing what shape fits into what kind of, the dent, or which compartment which of the peg puzzle will fit into. So there is a lot of cognition happening. You can also see this activity walker with the child here, and that has the movement, it has the xylophone, it has the pathways. You can move the animals. You have these beads, abacus kind of beads, to move around the rod. So all of this is allowing their finger movements and the fine motor skills to develop. Then we have these busy boards, or the lacing toys, or the lacing beads also. And in the library, you also have these farm animal lacing beads. So the kids are learning that these are the farm animals. At the same time, they are able to lace. Okay, and lacing mein do hai. One is lacing the beads, and one is this lacing where you can see the fruit. This also is available in the library, where it's the lacing fruits. And you can actually, the child learns to, and there is big peg. So they learn to put it in the hole, pull the thread from the other side. So a lot of fine motor movement is happening. Then clay dough and molding. You can sit with the child with your own ghar ka atta also. And you can make these different shapes. You make the balls, you create something, you pull it, you show the child, oh, it can be pulled and made long, it can be pushed into a small piece, it can be squeezed to make something. You can just kind of tap it and make a different shape, or with the fingers making snakes, making small little different shapes. All of this can be done depending on the age of the child. You can start progressing the usage of the blocks, the molds and toys. Then, of course, you have the bricks and blocks. So the younger the kid, if the child is just 8 months, 9 months old, we have these big blocks. Or, we have these Rubabu blocks of multiple things. You can check Rubabu. I think Asad will put in the spelling also of Rubabu, and you can check it in the toy library, but a lot of Rubabu toys have these child-friendly, velvety texture, but they have these shape blocks and everything, but they are big for the child to hold. So initially you start with the big blocks, and then as the child starts growing, you can start reducing the size. So after 2 and 3 years, you will give them very small size, because otherwise they'll be putting it in their mouth, which can be very risky. Then you have these touch and feel toys and butt toys, which I already talked of. You have these, at home you can give finger foods to the kids, and from the food you can start moving on to feeding with a spoon. So eating finger foods to using spoon, all of this training you can give to the child for the fine motor skills. I think I'll have to go a little faster. Okay. Yeah, gross motor skills. Now this is the larger movement, the hands, the entire arms, the legs, and the torso. So anything like crawling, walking, twisting, jumping, throwing, all of this comes in the gross motor skills. So as the child starts growing, you can start giving them activities like these, and you will find a lot of such things. Let me just directly come to the game so I can explain. We have these, these walkers. You can see this child holding this walker. So we have this in our library. It's called the activity walker, and the kid can be moving around with these walkers. And then you have, in the bottom right, I have this picture which is a croquet. We also have this in the library, where the child can hold on to the bats and they have to push the ball through that hole, through that door. So these stands are there, and you can keep sharing. Then also you have these, punching toys, the toys that sit through, and if we punch on them, they just go. It's also called the push toys. Then you have these string toys that you can pull along and walk with them. So what happens is that again, the movement of walking is happening, and the child is carrying it along. We also have these ring toss kind of games, or ball throwing games, or balancing toys, where you have to balance yourself. The kid has to balance himself or herself. So all of this is also, happening. So for the gross motor, again, you can bring in things which allow the larger movements to happen of the arms, of the legs, and of the body. You can yourselves also be doing some dance and play. So you're still giving that sensory input of music, and you're allowing the child to do some dance and play. So the twisting movement and all of that is happening. Their muscles start getting stronger with these gross motor skill movements. Then let's move on to the cognitive development. This is again a quote that I love, we all say that necessity is the mother of invention, but play is certainly the father of invention, through play. And so many things are just discovered, and you really need to play around and experience and do things to be able to get something new. So let's see the cognitive development. So, cognitive development is also called the intellectual development, which refers to the process by which the brain starts to learn and remember things. They also understand the cause and effect, or the problem solving ability. For example, when you shake a rattle, it produces sound, or when you close certain thing, the box gets shut. When you pull the knob, or you try to pull over, the box is getting open. So these small little cause and effect things are learned again through play, and the brain starts processing thinking ability because of these kind of games. Now, what are the toys that can help? These are the toys which are visible here, are also available in the library, but yeah, Asad will help you with that. If you're unable to reach out, maybe after this session, you can just take it up on one-to-one basis. Okay, so for cognitive development, matching games, anything where you have to match. For example, here I've put this jungle head and tail. So the child's ability, for us, it's so easy that this bird and, the head of the bird and the tail of the bird, it's obvious it is this. But when when we look at this, the child's level, they actually need time to process that this is red color or this is fitting and this is going with this. So this is a cognitive development. Any kind of matching things from 8 months, 1 year to 1.5 year, depending on what age group or what kind of game you are picking up. But yes, the child starts learning like 8 or 9 months. You can definitely start with this activity bus, which you can see in the bottom of my slide, the right bottom. uh, Other thing is uh, the sorting games, the shape sorters, the color sorters, that this color will get into this peg only, and this shape will get into this kind of a hole only. So these are the things the kids are learning to process with the brain. Then you have these stacking games where you have these sizes. So the larger ring goes first, then the next, then the next. Being able to process that this is bigger and then a smaller one, then a little smaller, or this is small and big, or this will not fit in, or this shape will not get into this. All of that happens. Now, jigsaw puzzles and mazes. I'm not sure how many of you are aware, but by 1.5 year, by 1 year, you can start with jigsaw puzzles. You get these 2 piece, 3 piece, 4 piece jigsaw puzzles. Again, you will find it in the library and everywhere. But jigsaw puzzle can be started as early as 1 year of age, and mazes can be started as early as 1.5 year of age of the child. And of course, these labyrinths and pathways, which we already have in our activity boards and busy boards, these can be even started earlier with the kids because they are allowing a lot of movement, but at the same time, that path formations are happening. So if you're searching in the library, you can search with the name of activity board or busy board, or we have a space theme, owl theme, multiple theme boards available there. And of course, there are jigsaw puzzles and there are books which have these 2 piece, 4 piece jigsaw puzzles with the touch and feel. We also have this touch and feel jigsaw, which are just 3 piece jigsaw puzzle. And they have a touch and feel, textures on the top of the puzzle. So these are multifunction toys that you can get into the library. And now coming to the socio-emotional, I think I'm just going to take another 5-7 minutes. Just a minute. Okay. So socio-emotional development is very, very important. It really begins early in life, but roughly 1.5, 2 years onwards, it is, that the child is able to connect with or recognize or able to socialize, recognize their own feelings and everything. So basically, socio-emotional development refers to the development where the child understands who they are, the knowing of the self, the understanding of the feelings. The child may be laughing or crying, but understanding that this is a feeling, it happens after 1.5, 2 years only. Then, interacting with others, making people happy, all of this. Although the child can process a lot of things earlier, but at 1.5, 2, they start empathizing, they start understanding things much better after that. So we again need to start giving them inputs which can help them with these kind of developments. And in the initial years, these are the toys that can help with the socio-emotional development. So dolls, in the very, very first stage of life, it is the soft toys, the dolls. I don't know if you have observed, but some kids have this particular shawl, the feel of it, which is very, very important to them. And they keep holding on to it because they have an emotional attachment. They feel a sense of security. They feel a sense of safety. They feel a sense of belongingness. This is emotional development for them. So as early as that, when the child is not even one, this is a recognition that ye mera hai and this belongs to me, and I need to hold on to it. And when I hold on to it, I feel asleep. When I hold on to it, I feel safe. When I hold on to it, I'm comfortable. So even if the child is crying and that shawl is given, the child will calm down because they've associated some kind of calmness with that particular texture and that toy. That is why it's very important that you start exposing the kids to dolls very early. And I don't mean the plastic dolls. You can buy these cloth dolls or kind of things, because the child starts seeing a friend or a companion, or they don't understand the concept of friend, but it is a companion, it is somebody with them, So, where they start building a sense of security with that particular dolls and all. Then slowly you can introduce them to puppets where you're introducing animals, you're introducing characters, you're introducing things. You can make stories, communicate with them. Other thing very important is this role play or pretend play. And you get a lot of these toys. Now, these both are also taken from the library. You have this doctor set. If you feed in doctor set in the search, you will find a lot of doctor sets. If you feed in kitchen, you will find a lot of kitchen sets, including the sandwiches, the burger, the waffle making machine, and lot of these things. But what happens is the child starts associating and starts empathizing also. So, if I have this tea set with me, I'm feeding and I'm filling in a cup for me. But I've seen my mother or my father doing this, that they fill up a cup for another member in the family. So I also learn to play that role where I'm filling a cup and I offer to somebody. So that emotional development and that social development is happening through the pretend play. The child starts imitating things that they see. The doctor said, again, empathizing, they'll start doing what they see with people. Then um family games, as the kids grow older, 2.5, 3 onwards, we have these board games also, like from the Orchard Toys, from Chalk and Chuckles. We have these games after 2 years of age, which are board games. And these company games are such that you can sit and play with your mom, dad, sibling, anybody. So the child is learning to socialize and share things with people, to be able to learn to take turns, that, because in the initial years, and especially if it is the single child, the first child, they get a lot of importance. So as they grow old, it's important for them to understand that they are not the only one all around the center of the world, but they have to share things with others, they have to be with others. So this kind of movement, or transition or development, where the child starts processing that there are people around you and there are people around the kid, and they have to share, they have to be with them, they have to like each other, and things like these. So these kind of pretend play help with all of this. So with this, I think I finish a lot of games and toys. I'm sure you must have been able to take down your notes or whatever. And in the YouTube, of course, Priya has already shared the link. She'll share it once again, but you can always go to the YouTube and look back into what all games and toys you can check for the different development. We can now open up for question and answers. So you can either raise hands and we'll unmute you, or you can put in your question into the chat box.
Yeah, Mittal, I think meanwhile what we can do is there are a few questions already in the chat box.
Yeah.
So, we can start addressing those, and others can just continue sharing their questions in the chat box.
Sure.
So,
The first question I remember, which I had not answered, was about till what age the crib should be there for the kid.
yeah, I think before that, actually, Mittal, before the session only started, a few
Oh,
people had shared their questions. So
okay.
let me know if this is pertaining to your expertise. Otherwise, we can just move to the next one. So
Sure.
the
You
first
can just
one,
read them out because I had logged out in between.
yeah. Let me do that. So the first one is my 4.5-month baby still does not have head control. She briefly lifts her head during tummy time only. So any thoughts, any insights on
No,
this?
I would recommend that you go to a pediatrician only. I mean,
Hmm.
if it is a major concern, you think the child is just not able to hold even when you're holding it like this,
Hmm.
then the best is to go to a pediatrician, because every child will have, I just want to give this one thing, that every child's milestones may be little aage piche. But
Hmm.
if something seems majorly amiss or
Hmm.
something very different, then meet your neonatologist or pediatrician. First
Noted.
5 years, first year of the life, it can be the neonatologist, or then pediatricians will also help.
Got it. The next question is my baby is 8.5 months old, but he isn't crawling or sitting without support yet. What do I do to help him crawl and sit?
Okay, so again, give the child more opportunities to sit and develop their muscles. Give them more of these plays which help them develop the muscles to be able to sit through. Crawling doesn't matter till 8 months. They will still learn. But if they are not sitting completely, I mean, even if they're sitting for a few seconds or bending forward and sitting, it's all right. But yes, give more exposure, or give these, these like that activity walker which we had put in the walking, in the sitting position also. If the child is holding on to it, if there's something interesting and child is able to sit through longer, they'll develop the muscles for it.
Got it. Yeah, the next question is, how do we teach child to express the feelings? Maybe identify the feeling first and to work on it. My LO is 14 months old.
Okay, so as I already said very just now, that the feelings recognition and the feelings processing happens after 2 years of age only. But at 14 months, it's all right. The child knows only two ways: to laugh or to cry. If they need something, they cry. Or if they want, they will have their own ways of dealing with things, but they will not be able to recognize yet. All you can do is verbalize, oh, you felt happy that you got this. Oh, you felt happy that you shared this with mama. Just verbalize their feelings. After 2 years, it's okay if the feelings get processed.
Noted. The next question is, when can we introduce touch and feel books and cubes? Like from which age?
Touch and feel books and cubes can be introduced as early as 3-4 months onwards. I mean, not cubes, but the books, or you get these play mats which have textures, because the child is still not being able to sit or hold on to things. And cubes you can't give them while they are sleeping, but when the child is on the tummy, the play mats have a lot of texture. So the texture can be introduced at very, very early age, 1.5 month also, through the rattles also. The cubes, once the child starts sitting with support.
Got it. Uh, yeah, I think we have a last question, which is, can we get a sense of which milestones to develop by what week or month? I know each baby is different, but just want in a broader base sense. For example, my baby is preterm born at 31 weeks. When is the right time to introduce flashcards or high contrast cards?
Okay, so for the milestones, no, you can always look into the website, into any authentic websites, like you have this American Institute of Pediatricians, you have this Indian Institute of Pediatricians, or you have the Indian Association of Pediatricians. All of these websites, especially when you go to the Indian websites, you will have these charts: 0 to 1 year, 1 to 2 year, 2 to 3 year, and 3 to 6 year. You have these charts, developmental charts of the babies. So you can always check these charts and compare. But yeah, every baby is different, which you've already mentioned. So the development could be 1-2 months before or after that chart period. Uh,
Um,
Talking about, this question, wait, what was it? That mm, flashcards. Flashcards, there are certain methodologies that believe that within 2 6 weeks of the child being born, the flashcards can be just flashed. And remember, it is flashcards, so you just have to flash. You can't be holding it for more than 2 to 3 seconds also. It has to be flashed and removed for the younger babies. You don't need to make them teach and learn and see every detail. Just flash and remove. The high contrast cards right from the child's birth can be put up in the child's rooms, or the toys. It will start their visual development soon.
right. So let me ask a different question.
Yeah.
I have twin boys, both are preterm. Now the thing with milestones, and I've read a few on Google and other sources, they give you a sense of timeline. Say, as you said, um, 2 months you should be introducing flashcards, so on and so forth. But my question is, if my babies are preterm, would there be an adjustment therefore in the timelines? For example, if my babies are say 2 months early, so the timeline for flashcards therefore shifts to 4 months in actual age. Hope
No,
I'm
not
able to answer
really.
my question.
Not really. But, in preterm, one very important factor is how the baby's health is. Because initially, they are kept in the incubators, and that entire month, the child cannot be exposed to external lot of stimuli. So, such external exposures do get delayed. But flashing things or giving them any kind of sensory inputs around their room shouldn't be an issue. The only factor for preterm babies in the initial months is their safety, their hygiene. All of these parameters should happen as per the doctor, but otherwise the developmental milestones, more or less, they do catch up by 6 months, 1 year, 2 years of their life. Different milestones they will catch up, but usually they do catch up. So when another baby is 2 year old and the preterm baby is 2 year old from their birth, it's not that then they are 2 months late. In the very initial months, certain things may get delayed. Anything flashing to them and all is not at all a problem, provided their hygiene guidelines or whatever the doctors have recommended.
Got it. Do we have a list somewhere which says these are the things that can get delayed? These are things that probably will be in line with, with a kid who is born with a full term pregnancy.
Sorry, list of what?
A list of milestones. Say, for example, one milestone is tactile, one milestone, as you said, is visual, one milestone is smell related.
Correct, correct. That's not
So,
a milestone. So these are the developmental areas. Milestones is actually the skill or the thing that the child achieves. And when I talk of tactile, it is a sensory development. So these
yeah,
are
yeah.
developmental areas, the physical development, intellectual development. Again, this you will very easily get if you look at the physical development chart of the child. You look at the cognitive development chart of the child, you will get these very easily anywhere on the net. Only thing is when you get these milestones, check the website. They should be, these authentic websites. That's the only thing you should be careful on. I think
Could you
even
refer
India
one?
Parenting Forum should have these milestone charts. Is it
Okay.
Priya?
No,
Okay.
currently do not.
Okay.
But what I can do, Mital, is if I think you mentioned some American
Association of
associations,
Pediatrician.
so
Yeah,
yeah, pediatrician links, right? So I can get the links from you, and then I can share in the community.
sure, sure.
Yeah. So
That
somewhere
works. Thank you so much.
I'll do that. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. Yeah. The next question is, hi ma'am, I'm a mommy of two babies. One is 3 years old toddler, and another one is 3 month old baby. 3 year toddler plays with the kitchen items and turns on the stove, and there is no caretaker. So how can she handle him? Um, anything which can be done for these negative habits, right?
No, so for the 3 year old toddler, if turning on the stove, it is definitely a safety issue and it does need supervision. Even if there's no caretaker, you will have to shift the items beyond the reach of the kids. You need to, the moment the babies are born, you have to child-proof your house in ways that, the safety is not a concern, because this is a very big issue. The child is turning on the stove with no supervision around them. And I don't know why is your stuff in the reach of the child, because usually we have it in the platforms and a 3 year old should not be able to climb up to the platform in the first place. So you definitely have to have some child proofing done in your house, and if not, then there should be someone around the baby, or you'll have to create ways or put them in a daycare, but create ways for the child's safety for sure.
Noted. Yeah, the last question is from Kavita, which is, kid is getting bored of a toy in few minutes.
Yes.
How to handle it.
Yes, so we ourselves get bored of our, if we are on the screen on just one single thing, or even if we are off the screen, we get bored nowadays. The attention span overall has reduced after the digital media has come in. And don't expect that the child should play with that same toy. I mean, we parents always look at the value for money. Hurry, I spent 1,000 rupees on this and he played for 5 seconds and 1 hour and has left the toy, is not at all interested in it. This is exactly what happens. Kids don't want to, once they feel they've exploded, they don't want to touch that again. And don't force on to any kind of games and toys in that same day or for a longer time. Let the child leave it, bring it to them again the next day, bring it to them again the next day. And this is exactly where, toy libraries, toy rentals play an important role, because kids want variety on a regular basis. So when you have things like these, I mean, I've given a toy to them and after 8-10 days, I feel, no, I should now bring in something new, because kids will get bored. Something that has some element and movement in it, you can always leave it aside. I mean, the child will want to do it again and again. But something that's explored and done with, the child doesn't want to touch it. And do not ever force any kid. I mean, even an 8-year-old, I will say, to just, अरे मैं इतना पैसा खर्चा करके लेके आया, I spent so much amount, why don't you play this, finish this, till that I'm not going to give you another toy. Never do that. You're killing the child's curiosity, you're killing the child's need to explore new things, you're making the child feel guilty about being able to explore things. So do not make them force on to hold on to a particular toy. Don't look at the value for money, look at the value of the learning. That's it.
Noted. Thank you so much, Mital. It was super, super informative. We will have the recording on our YouTube channel by evening. So in case you have missed out any screen, I understand all the screens were super informative with so many toys mentioned. You can find them in our YouTube channel. Yeah, just I think closing this, Asad, do you want to take the floor and maybe share a little bit more about Elephant?
I'll stop the share.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I think we had a very patient audience. We are exactly 1 hour into this session, so I will make it very crisp and quick as well, so that I don't bore people more. But I will have to share this so that people really understand what is it that we have to offer, right? And how is it that we can help. This is very much in sync with ma'am, what she has already mentioned. We are the Elephant Toy Library. We are India's first mobile app-based toy library. The best part about us is that we give you the convenience of choosing toys on a rotational basis. We have 600 plus varieties of toys and games across 70 plus leading brands. So it's very simple. In yesteryears, you used to have a book library, you used to physically visit, select the books and come back. Here you have the convenience of the app, right? All you have to do is subscribe to a membership plan where you get access to all of the toys. You order toys as per your convenience. You return toys as per your convenience. There are no timelines whatsoever. There is no restriction on the value of the toys also. So our toy library has toys in, starting from 500 rupees all the way up to 4.5, 5,000 rupees, right? Needless to say, you get the convenience of cost, reducing the clutter at home, advocating more of sustainable play, right? And most importantly, our toys are age appropriate. So you can develop the milestones basis the age filters that you get, right? Moving on, we've already discussed about the significance, so I will not stress too much on here. But even when your child, I mean, I understand right now we have a very young audience, but when you move your child into a preschool or even school, right? The NEP also advocates playing with toys and games, right, through an experiential learning. And we are at the forefront of this revolution where we are working with schools to actually have a toy play period, right? Even beyond the preschool years, as a special, session, right? Next, I'm sure that you must be wanting the world for your child, right? But in most cases, or in many cases, it's not possible for us to buy a toy every single week, right? We've partnered with the top brands in the country, most of which that you will find in a typical Hamley store. So your Rubabus, which ma'am mentioned, your Nestas, Play Shifus, your Skillmatics, right? Your Chicken Chuckles. These are all well-renowned brands. Ariro, absolutely new age brands. Some of them have also been featured on Shark Tank. That will help you enhance the skills that is flashing on your screen. All of these skills have been recommended by the NCERT syllabus as a part of the National Education Policy 2020. And we are very happy to share that we are compliant with all these new policies that are coming up and the initiatives that the government is also taking, right? Again, one very important factor is we are not like your next, door library where, we just purchase something from, wholesale market and give it to you. We have an expert panel of curators. Obviously, Mital ma'am is there with us on this session. We also have Kusum ma'am, Nirupa ma'am. These are all ex-educators. They've worked with schools. They've worked with kids for, 2 decades, 3 decades, cumulative experience of 7 to 8 decades. They exactly understand which type of toys and games should the child be playing with. And hence, out of the lakhs of toys that are present currently on a marketplace like Amazon, we've curated only 600 or 700 toys, right? To help you make your task better. Otherwise, if parents like, I mean, I'm also a parent, I tend to get confused. Where should I start with? Where should I end? There are so many toys that I need to give my child to. Are these toys safe, not safe? when we curate toys, we ensure that these toys are BIS certified plastic toys, many wooden toys, many touch and feel toys, right? So that we are also as conscious about the environment as we are towards the child, right? The best part is that we're present in 17 cities. We are just a young 1-year-old brand, but we have covered all major metropolitan cities, including the other tier 1, tier 2 cities also. And we will be hopefully expanding to 25 cities by the end of this year, that is financial year of 2025. And the
Asaf,
best part is, yeah, sorry.
sorry, we missed the audio. For the last 10 seconds?
Oh, sorry. So I was saying that in the span of last 1 year, we've been able to scale up to 17 cities. We are now moving towards our next milestone of 25 cities by the end of next financial year. In all these cities, we have a presence where we can deliver these toys and games at your doorstep within 24 hours of you ordering it from our mobile app, right? So the entire convenience factor is also built in, because do understand that when your child is small, you can't go out and do toy shopping with them, right? But here you can just shop or rather rent toys on our mobile app and quickly kind of order them, right? Um, Again, I have discussed on how the the app works. I will also show it to you in detail. Again, some of the love that has been showered on us by some of the leading, media agencies that we've been featured on, and the great work that we are doing. On the right-hand side, you can see our founder, Mr. Saurabh Jain, who also has a 3-year-old daughter and actually started off this concept when he was struggling to find the right toy options, right? So that's about it. One last thing that I would want to just share with you is what we are doing exclusively for this very wonderful parenting community that we have at the IPF. Um, as a thank you gesture for listening to us so patiently. What we've done is we've gone ahead and we've created some very special offers for you. Um, and while we have multiple plans, I'm just showing or showcasing the base plans that we have for 3 months and 12 months. Flashing on your screen is the plan charges and the one-time membership fees. Cumulatively, these are the charges that you will be liable to pay if you just go on the app. What you will get is 2 toys and 9 deliveries for a quarter, which means effectively 1 delivery per 10 days, right? And in the annual plan, you will again get, uh, you know, uh, 3 deliveries per month. And then we have another bonus delivery. So you get 40 deliveries. uh, Give or take, each toy, if you were to rotate it and you were to access 18 toys or 80 toys, it will not cost you more than 100 rupees, right? So you will get all these toys at sub 100 rupees, which is like a brilliant price point, right? And what we are doing is we are launching an offer on the quarterly and the annual plan. These are the promo codes which are flashing on your screen, which is IPF all for a 1500 rupee discount and IPF 2200 for a 2200 rupee discount. And this is what you will be liable to pay, excluding a refundable deposit. A refundable deposit is a minimal fee that we typically take from our users just to ensure that our toys are used well. This is refundable, as the name suggests, at the end of the term or the plan period, right? Also flashing on your screen is our UI for the app. So when you go onto a UI, you will see that you have this screen. You have to quickly press on the View Plans button. It will take you to this page. You can see the garden plan, which I was showing to you earlier in the earlier slide, which is for 12 months, 2 toys, and three free deliveries, basically, right? When you click on Become a Member, that is when you go on to the next slide, which is this slide. You enter the code, which is IPF 2200 for a 2200 rupee discount, and then finally, you get the subscription for 6,999, out of which 1,000 rupees is completely refundable at the end of the term, right? Again, my urge would be to go and download the app. Please browse through the toys that ma'am has already spoken. I've also shared links on this chat. The same can be filtered using our search options over here. If you can see, there is a search option over here. Either you type the name of the toy or you use the age appropriate filters, skill appropriate filters that we already have, right? And you can go through the toys. I'm also available on call. My number is already put in the chat box. I will share it again if you need it. I'm happy to help anyone to start off this journey with the elephant. Sorry. That's it from my side, Priya, and
Yeah.
thank you for everyone who's listened so patiently.
Thank you so much. Asad, just a quick question from Priya, which is, what if a toy gets damaged? If you can just address it quickly.
Got it. So see, essentially, we do not, charge anything for the wear and tear and for minor damages because we have wonderful relationships with our brands and vendor partners, right? So everything gets covered only in case when the toy becomes completely unplayable, right? It's completely damaged, it's unplayable, it's broken. We will assess it and then we will accordingly kind of decide as to what needs to be done, whether you want to purchase the toy at a discounted price, right, or adjust it against the refundable security deposit.
Noted. Hope that helps. Yeah, thank you so much, guys. This was a wonderful session. You can find the session by evening on our YouTube page. We'll share all the links. I'll just reach out to you and get the link of that American Association, and I'll share with the community. Thank you so much, Asad, for organizing this. And yeah, hopefully you can use this insights in your parenting journey. Yeah, thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye, everyone. Thank you.